I've taught for 8 years. Same school, same classroom, same hallway with peeling blue paint and motivational posters no one reads. But tomorrow, I might not have a classroom anymore. Because one parent decided that her daughter not getting the lead role in a 5th grade musical meant I was racist, biased, and unfit to teach. And she didn't just complain. She tried to destroy my career. If you've ever been accused of something you didn't do, if you've ever had someone twist the truth to protect their ego, then stay with me. And before we begin, hit like and subscribe for more real stories where justice doesn't come easy. But when it does, it's worth it. I teach 5th grade at Brookdale Academy in North Carolina. It's not a glamorous school, but it's mine. I've poured nearly a decade into that classroom. I know which students need encouragement, which ones pretend they don't care, which ones cry quietly during silent reading. 6 months ago, we began preparing for our annual showcase. This year's production, Beauty and the Beast. It was my class's responsibility to perform the main act, which meant I had to cast it. And that's where everything started unraveling. There were 2 clear standouts during auditions. Emily Carter, confident, polished, light on her feet, strong stage presence, expressive eyes. And Jasmine Reed, bold voice, magnetic energy, natural authority in the way she spoke. Both were incredible, and only one could be Belle. I lost sleep over that decision. So I did something I believe would teach a valuable lesson. I turned it into a classroom vote. Democracy in action. Fair, transparent, educational. Both girls performed solo pieces they prepared. The class voted anonymously. Emily won by 2 votes. 2. I remember watching Jasmine's face as I read the results. A flicker of disappointment crossed her expression, but then something unexpected happened. She smiled. A tight smile, but genuine. After class, I pulled her aside. Jasmine, I said gently, I have another role in mind for you. The Beast, Prince Adrian. She blinked. Really? You have the voice for it. The presence. When you speak, people listen. Her eyes lit up. Can I practice the transformation scene today? She was excited, energized, invested. For weeks, rehearsals went beautifully. Emily embodied Belle's warmth. Jasmine delivered lines with depth that honestly surprised me. They worked well together. Until I called Jasmine's mother about costume contributions. That's when the storm began. Mrs. Reed arrived after school in heels too sharp for an elementary hallway. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. I want to know why my daughter isn't Belle. Her tone wasn't curious. It was accusatory. I explained the voting process carefully, calmly, respectfully. She leaned back in her chair. So you let children decide casting? It was part of a lesson on voting and fairness. My daughter is devastated. I hesitated. That surprises me. She's been very enthusiastic at rehearsal. Her jaw tightened. Well, she cries at home. The air shifted. The next day, she showed up unannounced during rehearsal. At first, she stood in the back. Then she started interrupting. Emily, sweetheart, project more. Try smiling softer. Jasmine, show her how it's done. The children froze. Emily's cheeks flushed red. Jasmine stared at the floor. I felt heat crawl up my neck. Mrs. Reed, I said quietly, we can discuss feedback after rehearsal. She ignored me. She corrected choreography, questioned line delivery, undermined authority. When I finally asked her to leave, she did. But that was only the beginning. The messages started that night. You're ruining the play. Everyone knows Jasmine deserved Belle. Parents are talking. Then came the cookies. She showed up at my house. A knitted scarf. Homemade pastries. I just want what's fair, she said sweetly. It didn't feel sweet. It felt strategic. I declined politely. She escalated. 3 days before the show, after another flood of messages, I finally snapped. Not angrily, but firmly. If this interference continues, I will have to reconsider Jasmine's involvement in the production. I regret those words, because the next morning, I was called to the principal's office. Mrs. Reed had filed a formal complaint, not just about casting, She accused me of racial bias, claimed I said beauty meant lighter skin, said I threatened her daughter, said I was emotionally abusive. My ears rang as the principal read the allegations. It felt like the floor dropped away. I had never, not once, treated any student differently, but accusation alone can stain a reputation. The show went on. The girls performed beautifully. Standing ovation. Parents cried. But 3 days later, I was notified of a board hearing. I barely slept. I replayed every interaction in my head. Every word. Every tone shift. Every email. Was I too firm? Too dismissive? Could anything be misinterpreted? My colleague, Daniel, the music director, offered to speak on my behalf. So did the choreographer. I gathered every screenshot, every timestamp, every message where I remained professional despite provocation. The night before the hearing, I stared at my classroom. The desks, the art projects taped crookedly to the walls, the spelling lists, the reading corner rug. I wasn't afraid of losing a job. I was afraid of losing my integrity. The board meeting felt like a courtroom. Mrs. Reed spoke first. Tears, dramatic pauses, carefully chosen words. She threatened my daughter. She implied certain girls are more suitable to play beauty. She has favoritism. I felt 30 pairs of eyes on me. Then Daniel spoke. He described the rehearsal interruptions, the tension she caused, the way both girls grew anxious under her constant comparison. The choreographer described similar incidents. Then it was my turn. My hands trembled slightly as I connected my laptop. I showed the voting results, the lesson plan, the messages, the polite responses, the escalating tone from her side. One board member leaned forward. Did you ever comment on a child's skin tone? Never, I said steadily. Another asked, why threaten removal? I didn't threaten, I said. I set a boundary after repeated interference. I regret the phrasing, but my priority was protecting the students. There was silence. Long. Heavy. Mrs. Reed avoided eye contact. After an hour deliberation, the board returned. The chairwoman adjusted her glasses. We find no evidence of misconduct. I exhaled for what felt like the first time in weeks. The complaint is dismissed. Mrs. Reed stood abruptly, furious. But it was over. The real moment of satisfaction wasn't watching her leave. It was the following Monday. Jasmine ran into my classroom smiling. Miss Carter, my mom said I was amazing. I knelt beside her. You were. She grinned. I like being the beast. And that's when I realized something powerful. Despite her mother's noise, Jasmine had grown from the experience. Confidence, stage presence, strength, the very qualities I saw from day one. Teaching isn't about casting roles. It's about teaching resilience, fairness, grace under pressure. And sometimes the loudest voices aren't the ones who are right. Sometimes justice is quiet, methodical, documented. If this story meant something to you, hit like and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, have you ever been falsely accused and had to defend your name? I read every story. And sometimes the truth just needs patience to win.